Alright, Sweatlodges. I think it's been a few days since I put one of these out. So today's topic is it takes a tribe or a community, but not in the way you think, or at least not in the way you've probably ever heard the story before. So, can't tell you where I picked it up. I think it was probably a TV show, YouTube video, something like that, where there was a operator that was discussing James Bond and the unrealisticness of having one human be able to, shoot that well, handle martial arts that well, be that good of a spy, be up on the latest tech, drive, fly, and look good in a suit is very unlikely or unreasonable, because to maintain that level of excellence on that many different skill sets, if that were even possible, you would never be able to be deployed in the field, because you spend so much time training each one of those skill sets, and often I think they might even be counterproductive to one another. Like if you're all bulked up, you probably don't look as good in a suit. Now, I don't know, maybe The Rock or some other folks, John Cena, Jason Momoa can get away with it. Although you don't see Jason Momoa in suits very often. So, I digress. My point is, that many skill sets is hard to get into one human. And I want to focus on, rather than the one human, but to do well at a bunch of skills, you need training partners, you need coaches, you need trainers, doctors, somebody who's going to keep an audit of all this, who's tracking it. For my disc profilers out there, who's that high C that's, tabulating all the figures and running metrics and, giving performance reviews. So it really takes a squad of people, a team of people. It takes a support crew. Another great analogy is you look at like a supercarrier. Most people don't realize how many support vessels are attached to that supercarrier group. So for every fighting vessel, there's probably, 1 to 3 support vessels. Carrying food, fuel, and parts, and being an extended array to surveil and support. Sometimes even just add as like layers of armor or crudely cannon fodder. Right? That's the most important asset. So, enough of the analogies. What's the point of the message? It really breaks down to, behind any high-speed operator, you have a host of support team folks, people, systems. Why is this important in today's world? The modern culture and the interwebs would have you believe, sitting at home in your little dark room, staring at your computer or your phone, laptop, tablet, whatever, that you could be some high-level operator, all by yourself. And you can run this, be that lone wolf, that solo operator. And though it might appeal to some, and it might be cool for fantasy narratives, very few people operate that way. Humans aren't built to operate that way. It's typically at the core of most social structures, almost all religious structures, that it really does require a group of clever humans to band together to achieve anything at scale. And really what I mean at scale, beyond like keeping yourself alive from day to day. So in this world where isolation seems to be the way to go, because you're not being told anything else, don't buy into that. You don't have a good support crew, then you're probably not going to excel. If you are, you're old like me, and you've learned some tricks along the way where for a period of time you can run solo. But at the end of the day, you got to go back somewhere to be safe. You have to sleep. Somebody has to guard while you sleep. There has to be a level of safety. And that's really kind of what civility is all about. We agree to a set of standards where, hey, this is okay and this is not okay. And when you cross that line, to quote that great movie, that I forget its name now, there's going to be consequences and repercussions, right? Like, it just isn't allowed. The strife you see in Britain right now, in most pockets of the world, is you get two groups that don't agree on where that line is. Or you have typically a small batch of bad actors that are running rogue. And they're probably running rogue for a legitimate reason. They feel marginalized. They feel like they're not being heard. Not that I say violence is excusable in that method by any stretch of the imagination, but if you want to solve the peace, if you want to be a peacemaker, you have to be able to put yourself in the other person's shoes. However strained or odd or weird that may be for you, or how you were raised in your culture. You can't build a common ground if you can't understand, or at least have a level of understanding where they're coming from. And sometimes there is no peace to be made. The delta is too big. It's too different between two groups. Again, I feel like I'm off topic. So, back to the topic. You got to get a good group of friends. I've said this in previous sessions. What classifies as a good group of friends, a good group of people around you? They love you. They're looking out for you. They're with grace and love. They are brutally honest with you when you're messing up, when you cross the line or cross the threshold, or you just floundering around, And if you can't take that criticism, that's really a reflection of you, not them, And in that group, everybody wants to think they're the operator and everybody's a support group. That's probably not the case. You're probably part of the support group, at least in most areas, So, there might be that one person who's really good at the social settings, the storyteller. There's always one or two in the group that's good at fighting. Typically, there's somebody who's pretty good at making food, or finding beverages, or finding the hot spot to hang out or to eat. Hopefully, you got a good mechanic in the group, somebody who can actually work with the physical things in the world. You always have a comedian. You typically have a peacemaker. More than not, you have a few whiners, maybe an Eeyore or two. You got the optimist. But that makes for a rich friend group. It makes for fun life experiences. It builds for resiliency. So for the young bucks out there, don't settle. What else are you doing? Flipping, scanning, swiping, scrolling. Go get your feet in the grass, your face in the world, the sun on your body. Interact with life. Apologies for the abrupt visual change. My phone overheats if I run it past about 8 minutes of video in the Sweatlodge. So the wrap up on that one was, if you're going to excel in life, you need a good squad. You need a support crew. And in that, you probably should be supporting everybody else in that crew when they're, focused on their endeavors. Don't buy into the modern narrative that, you can do it on your own and you don't need anybody. You hear it, men don't need women, women don't need men. That's insanity. And it doesn't lead for a very rich life experience, honestly. So I would say, find your squad and churn it. You know, if people aren't contributing, out they go. Find other people that are willing to contribute and are going to push you, make you better. But they're going to focus on not only themselves, but you and the team as a whole. And you will see that life gets a lot easier. It gets a lot more enjoyable. Stuff gets done. You know, the rising tide lifts all boats. Pick whatever colloquialism you like to use there. So there's the end point to my message. I'm probably going to clip it because I was rambling in the middle of that one, as I'm rambling now. So until next time, Sweatlodgers. See ya.